In this tutorial, we're going to look at the module assessment for Digital Tree. In total, there are two assessments, and the first one is worth 75% and the second one is worth 25%. They follow on from one another, so you're going to see exactly how the assessments progress from 1 to 2. We'll kick off by just having a look at the actual assignment 1. First thing you got to do is you, as a group or individual, have to choose a concept on which to develop a campaign geared towards one of Ireland's markets. Now, the markets are down here below. There are 6, and they're outlined by Fáilte Ireland segmentation, and there's a link to it there. So you can look at one or more of these target markets. So it's all about finding out your audience and then figuring out what concept you want to deal with towards those people. Okay, so the actual segments are everything from connected families, the culturally curious, great escapers, footloose socializers, etc. And your concept, it's any idea that you want to create a digital marketing plan for. Okay, and I'll give you examples. Over the previous years, this concept is any idea, thought or notion organized around a main idea or theme. So what people have chosen in the past is a huge, wide range of different concepts. The one I'm going to be dealing with in our virtual in-class example will be one called Walk With Me, which is looking at people who, are into hill walking or hiking around Ireland. So I'm going to look at different aspects of that. But my whole focus throughout the entirety of Assessment 1 and Assessment 2 will be on this one concept about Walk With Me. Some of the ones that people have chosen over, last year really, were like different concepts such as designer dupes, which look at clothing and a cheap knockoff version of designer clothes, okay? Everything from drink, survive, overcome. That's looking at how people, hangover cures really, and they were looking at the concept of hangover cures and then creating different channels around that. We've got Easy Peasy there as well, which looks at student meals and easy to cook student meals and just and building channels around that. Jerseys to go, I think, is fairly straightforward. Fitness qualifications, romance in Dublin, in other words, places to go on first dates, different things like that. We also had, dog database, which is all about trying to promote rescue centres for dogs, etc. Loving Salzburg, which is fairly straightforward. It's about promoting Salzburg as a destination. Endorphin boosters, which is all about hiking around Ireland as well. The Wild Atlantic Way. There's loads of different choices here. Now, what you can do here is this concept doesn't have to be an organization, doesn't have to be a company. It just has to be a concept, okay, or a thought that you want to deal with. Like, for instance, one group last year dealt with live local and all the different things around you. And then, pub crawls, which is exactly that, different channels around pub crawls and so on. Foodies for uni, exactly the same as places for students to eat and so on. So lots of different scenarios here, okay? It's up to you to come up with your own concept, to figure out exactly what you as an individual or as a group want to create your digital channels around. And then once you've decided on what concept you want to deal with, then the next part is there are a number, and you'll see in a second when I look at the outline for assignment 1, there's a number of channels that I want you to create over time. And what we'll do virtually in class is we'll actually we'll present these different areas and show how you can use them and how to best achieve your aims through each of these channels, okay? So as I said, the concept, this is something that takes people a little bit of time to get their head around, that you've got to come up with your own concept. I won't be giving you concepts. These aren't a list of ones that you choose from. These are just examples of what groups have done in the past, okay? And you can do a variation. You can go nuts. You can go choose whatever you want, okay? But what I want you to do again as a group is I want you to run it by me. So I want you within the first couple of weeks to let me know what concept you're going to go with, and if you're in a group, and if you're in a group, who they are, and so on. Okay, so once you've decided on your concept, then what you've got to do is over the course of the module, you've got to produce certain channels. So for instance, for the first number of weeks, we'll be dealing with pay-per-click advertisement. And what I'll be expecting to do is a Google Ads campaign. Now, I'll be showing you virtually how to do all of these things, how to actually create a Google Ads campaign, what's involved in it, step by step. We'll do a hands-on, step-by-step introduction and tips and tricks and all of these types of things for Google Ads. The same with blogs, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. Okay. The first one, if you decide to do it as a group, the Google Ads campaign, each individual in the group has got to produce an individual Google Ads campaign. And then thereafter, all the other assignments are group assignments. If you decide to do it as an individual, obviously they're all going to be individual. So it's up to you to decide which is the best method for you, especially in this virtual environment, which is the best method logistically of you completing these different tasks. Okay. So the dates are outlined here: the 12th of October for Google Ads, the 2nd of November for blogs, the 9th of November for Twitter, 23rd of November for Facebook page, and the 30th of November for the Instagram account, and then finally the 7th of December for the e-sign, okay, or the direct marketing campaign, whichever you want to call it, okay. And there are different percentages for these, as you can see on the right hand side, all adding up to 75%, okay. So assignment 1 is worth 75%, assignment 2 is worth 25%, as I mentioned already, okay. As I mentioned, your concept and your market segment must be approved by the lecturer by email before the 5th of October. That's just to get you moving, okay, and to make you think about what your concept is going to be rather than last minute, okay. It's a group assignment. Now, when I say it's a group assignment, you can do it individually or as a group of 2, 3, or 4, with a maximum of 4 in a group. And the only component of assignment 1, which is not a group component, is the Google Ads campaign. So regardless of whether you're doing this as an individual or as a group, the Google Ad campaign is all submitted individually per person. So that's assignment 1. So what you're doing in assignment 1 is creating the actual channel. And I'm looking in this case here, you can see includes at least 3 posts for blogs, the same for Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. So at least 3. That does not mean that a maximum of 3. At least 3. You can have as many as you want after that. Okay. The whole idea of this is that it's not only about creating the actual channel itself, but it's actually populating it with content. And the content is, in most cases, and you'll see from the marketing schemes, which are all up on Dropbox, but in most cases the content is what work well more than the actual creation of the actual channel itself. Like creating a blog, or creating a Twitter account or a Facebook page is not all that difficult. It's what you put into it, it's important. Okay, so that's assignment 1. And it's a group assignment, as I mentioned, but I will accept individuals at this point in time. Okay. There's a moderation form if anybody wants to complete that. In other words, if 3 people are working in a group and one person doesn't work as much as the others, and they concede to that, you might turn around and say, all the total percentages that you divide this up have got to equal 300 if you're dealing with 3 people, obviously. So what it might be is the first might get 110, the second might get 110, and the third might get 80. So that still adds up to 300, okay? And the marks are divided based on that. Now, obviously, if everybody works exactly the same, that's great. Everybody's happy with that. And you don't need to submit the moderation form. But it's only if there's issues. And the whole idea of the moderation form is not to create issues, but to try to, make sure that those issues don't occur, okay? So we'll jump into assignment 2 here. Assignment 2 is channel maintenance. So really what you're doing is the channels that you've already created, the blog, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, you created those over the month of October and November. What I want you to do is, Between then and the 7th of December, which is the end of the course, I want you to keep maintaining them. Okay, not just like the initial submission will have 3 posts in it at least. Okay, I want you to have to build on that over time and do it consistently at a time that the audience would be most expected to be online and to be dealing with these things. Okay, and just to make sure you maintain the channel correctly, and there's 25% of the marks going for that. Okay, and again, because this is assignment 2, but really it's part B of assignment 1, if you understand that. So the channels you create in assignment 1 are the ones you maintain in assignment 2. So I expect if you do it as a group, that the group will stay together for the duration of the module, and that you will maintain your own channels and so on. Okay, so really that's all that is. It's a maintenance of the channels that you created in assignment 1. So making sure that you keep them, rather than on the 8th or on the 6th of December deciding, oh God, we have to put up a load of posts on Twitter or Facebook. You maintain them over time in a well scheduled fashion. So there are your assignments for Digital 3. And as I say, there are 2 assignments. Assignment 1 is worth 75 and assignment 2 is worth 25%.